More now on our top story that the Prime Minister has said the country is united in shock and grief at the killing of Sarah Everard. Boris Johnson said her death had unleashed a wave of feeling about the safety of women in Britain, and he insisted the government would work to ensure that women had confidence in the justice system. One former school head teacher has said that the conversation around the safety of women needs to start in the classroom. That's the founder of Guide Education, Leon Hady, and he joins me now. Hello there, Leon. Welcome to BBC News. Interesting. You think that this education should start in the classroom. Tell us more about your idea.
Yes, very much so. Essentially, there's a lot of research that shows a lot of what a child will actually do and learn is kind of set by primary school ages, maybe 7 or 8. So if we're trying to bring the conversation into things that we want to change in at that age, it's going to be very, very important.
Leon, have we just suddenly lost you? No, we can see you. That's good. So what sort of thing would you be wanting to teach children of such a young age?
Well, with the issues like this, much in the same way it was for Black Lives Matter, we need to kind of go with the concepts of fairness, equality and justice, first of all, because essentially, obviously, the culmination of what's happened with the Sarah Everard case, and unfortunately hundreds and hundreds of other women, it really horrifies us. But it starts with the idea that you can do this to someone, or you can have power over someone, or you can freak someone out. If you're in a situation with primary schools in particular, where you're starting to teach and show people that you're able to be fair and just, and start teaching them those ideals. So there's a lot of social experiments that teachers do where, you know, they'll pick someone with longer hair or lesser hair or blue eyes or brown eyes, and they'll treat those people differently for a day. And children don't have the same kind of world wariness that we have. So they won't be in a situation where they think, well, that's just how life is and that's just what happens. They still believe, and they're still very open to the idea of everyone having the same and equitable and fair opportunity in society. So when you start to teach them what the effects of unfairness are, and you start to teach them what the effects of, what turns out to be sexism, racism, or that kind of, putting one race or group or gender below one other, it really starts to get into them in a very, very strong way from an early age. So teachers can do this with the social experiments they can try. Teachers can do it with posters and phrases that they use, and they become very, very stuck. I'm sure you remember many things that your primary school still taught you today, be it a nursery rhyme or something about the ancient history with the Egyptians. That's a very, very powerful time to get information into children that can make a huge effect on how they actually look at society. And the reason that we have to get it into schools moreover is because the rest of society is sadly very patriarchal. So you look at different things in your music, in your TV, in the magazines, and most of the things that have access to, you can't look at those and then say they don't favour men in 90% of the cases. So it'd be really, really good from a young age to start imprinting some positive attitude towards this in young people.
What's been so striking in the debate over the last few days is the way in which many very well-intentioned men have had no idea of the sort of fear that women have of walking out in the dark by themselves.
Yeah, that has been absolutely horrifying. I mean, as someone of a biracial background, I remember when the Black Lives Matter things happened and people would call me and say, does this kind of stuff really happen? And you'd be like, yeah, of course, this is part of the course for us. And obviously I'd just been shocked just to speak to, female friends recently and just say, well, how widespread is it? I mean, and it is absolutely horrifying. And a lot of the instances that people mention are when women are on their own. And that's just simply not the case of where they get harassed and where things go into them. Obviously, a rather woman spoke about this, but just speaking from where my friends have been telling me that, you can get on a train and someone will expose themselves to you. You can be in a shop in a queue, someone will grab parts of your body. I mean, it's just absolutely incomprehensible for a man to do that. And then you look at different countries like, say Sweden. I mean, Sweden made this sexual assault. Even if you put your finger on someone, they make it sexual assault. So I think their sexual assault crimes in 2013, 14, 15 went up 4,000% because they realised and acknowledged this problem. And then so they put in a law to actually stop it. Now,
but you are saying, sorry to interrupt, but you are saying that prevention is much better than punishment.
Oh, 100%. And setting a line in the sand. If the line in the sand is absolutely no touching at any point and there's severe consequences, unfortunately, some people have to be taught that way. Now, remember, we're saying the vast majority of men, this isn't even going to apply to, so it's irrelevant. But for some people, you're always going to find there's a small percentage of society that need a very, very harsh way of being taught and dealt with to be able to do that.
OK, very good to talk to you. Thank you. That's Leon Hady, education specialist. Thank you so much.